So it's very clear that the issue of immigration has rocketed up the political agenda over the last few months. In fact, when you look at the latest Redfield and Wilton polling on which issues would determine voters will support at the next general election, you see that immigration behind only the economy and healthcare, ahead of the environment, ahead of education, ahead of taxation, ahead of housing, ahead of pensions. And we've had, of course, over 40,000 people cross from France on small boats this year. Illegal immigration has continued to surge despite various deals being done with the French, which, as I predicted, wouldn't really make any difference whatsoever. We've seen numbers across from France on small boats increase, not decrease. And you've got this an interesting situation now with Suella Braverman, who, I'm a big fan of, based, of course, her leadership campaign around leaving the ECHR to actually stop the boats. And, mainstream media can ignore this as much as they want, but the fact is more Brits now support leaving the ECHR than remaining.
I've seen firsthand, as I say, I've been in court fighting these cases for several years, and I've seen what's happened with the Rwanda flight and the Rwanda policy. The reality is that the policy is vulnerable to claims based on Human Rights Acta or the European Convention, namely Article 3 claims and Article 8 rights. And we will simply not be able to remove in significant numbers those people coming across the channel illegally in risky circumstances unless we eliminate those kinds of claims against our actions. And that's why we do need to leave the European Convention on Human Rights.
When it came to Conservative voters, Suella Braverman's policy platform in terms of the Conservative leadership was actually the most popular with Conservative voters. But you can see there Braverman is very much in touch with the public mood. And that follows, of course, as you all know, the outrageous, effectively a block on the Rwanda policy back in April. So British government policy basically had the kibosh put on it by a foreign judge in a European court. Now, we've had a ruling today in the High Court that the Rwanda asylum policy is lawful, being described as a major victory for the government, that the policy is lawful. Now, Braverman responded to this by saying, our groundbreaking migration partnership with Rwanda will provide individuals relocated with support to build new lives there while disrupting the business model of people smuggling gangs putting lives at risk through dangerous and illegal small boat crossings. She says, we have always maintained that this policy is lawful, and today the High Court has upheld this. She says she's committed to making this partnership work and that the focus remains on moving ahead with the policy as soon as possible, and we stand ready to defend against any further legal challenge. Many others are noting today this isn't the end of the story, because there are likely to be further legal challenges and indeed likely to be an appeal. But sound Conservative MPs welcoming today's development, Brendan Clark-Smith, one of those, describing it as a big win for the decent, hard-working people of this country who are fed up of having our hospitality and kindness abused, and that hopefully, he says, the decision on whether to allow an appeal will be dismissed on the 16th of January. Jonathan Gullis, another one of those, responding to this today, saying, I hope lefty lawyers don't play games and delay these flights from taking off. Instead, they should respect not just today's judgment, but also the law of the land, which was passed by our sovereign parliament, a democratically elected government. Now, I know for many of you, having had all this talk since back in April about how tough the government were going to be, and then none of it ever happening, you're very much of the view, believe it when you see it, and hence many of you currently telling me you're intending to vote for Reform UK. The question, of course, for Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister is he actually going to deliver on this and do whatever it takes, including what the Home Secretary has previously talked about, leaving the ECHR? Because don't forget, Jonathan Gullis recently had a bill effectively to ignore the ECHR, which the government abstained on and subsequently was defeated in Parliament.
Jonathan Gullis.
The people of Stoke-on-Trent, Kidsgrove and Torquay and I find the number of migrants coming across the English Channel from perfectly safe neighbouring European countries like France totally unacceptable and deeply concerning. My right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, wrote in the Telegraph that, and I quote, where the European Convention on Human Rights is a problem, I will tackle it. We voted to leave so that we could be a sovereign nation. The ECHR cannot inhibit our ability to properly control our borders, and we shouldn't let it. I am steadfast in my belief that we can end the ECHR's trespass on our parliamentary democracy and guarantee this House's position as the ultimate law-making institution of our great country.
Order! The ayes to the right, 69. The noes to the left, 188. So the noes have it. The noes have it. Unlock.
This is going to be a key test for the Conservatives, for the government in 2023. I know for some of you, no matter what the government do now, having seen 28,000 people cross on small boats from France last year, over 40,000 this year, I know many of you have no faith in the Conservative government now to deliver. Perhaps others of you would be open-minded if Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman can deliver and can stop this crisis. But here's the question. Will the Prime Minister ultimately allow the Home Secretary to implement the policy she has frequently and consistently spoken out in favour of, which is ultimately to leave the ECHR? I fear anything short of that will not stop this crisis.
A third of all those arriving in small boats this year, almost 13,000 people, are Albanian. And yet Albania is a safe, prosperous European country. It is deemed safe for returns by Germany, France, Italy, Sweden. It is an EU accession country, a NATO ally, and a member of the same treaty against trafficking as the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister of Albania has himself said there is no reason why we cannot return Albanian asylum seekers immediately. Last year, Germany, France, Belgium, Sweden, all rejected almost 100% of Albanian asylum claims. Yet our rejection rate is just 45%. That must not continue. So today, I can announce a new agreement with Albania and a new approach. First, we will embed Border Force officers in Tirana Airport for the first time ever, helping to disrupt organised crime and stop people coming here illegally. Second, we will issue new guidance for our caseworkers to make it crystal clear that Albania is a safe country. Third, one of the reasons we struggle to remove people is because they unfairly exploit our modern slavery system. So we will significantly raise the threshold someone has to meet to be considered a modern slave. For the first time, we will actually require a caseworker to have objective evidence of modern slavery rather than just a suspicion. Fourth, we have sought and received formal assurances from Albania confirming they will protect genuine victims and people at risk of re-trafficking, allowing us to detain and return people to Albania with confidence and in line with the ECAT treaty.
Let me know what you make of this development today, guys. Do you have faith in Rishi Sunak's government to stop this madness, to stop this crisis, or not? Are you currently intending to vote reform? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.